Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Culture Shock, the show reminding you that a vote for Biden is a vote for this.
School.
Yes, we do. Yes.
I am your host, Will at Heroic Studios, and today we are going to go over the recap of last night's vice presidential debate, and my God, was it magnificent. Now, if Trump can get on Pence's level on how to answer questions against Biden, I think Trump would have done a little bit better in his debate. It was just all over the place, but this, I never knew how composed and calm Mike Pence was, and he just had a good composure to himself when he was rebutting just all the lies coming out of Kamala Harris's mouth. I mean, every single thing she said has either been debunked or has been an outright lie that for some reason the left just doesn't want to let go of. Russia, she mentioned that, lie. Trump denouncing white supremacy, that he didn't do it, a lie. I actually did that on my last video. All the times he's denounced white supremacy, racism, and the KKK. All these things, and that was her pitch. The whole campaign for Joe Biden is Orange Man bad, and we need to do everything we can to get him out of office because Orange Man bad because he's orange, he's a man, and he's bad. That's pretty much their whole campaign slogan. But before we get started, guys, like always, like, subscribe. Please share this video out. I'm trying to get my subscriber list going. I'm nearly about to break 500 subscribers. I need to get to 1,000 to get monetized because I think the moment I do get monetized, I will be demonetized. So, hey, I'm glad you guys are liking these videos. I also have my podcast, which has the audio version of this video. If you guys can't watch this video, go check out my podcast. I just broke my first dollar. Yay, that's a celebration for me. My first dollar has been broken on my podcast, so I'm really excited about that. So go give that a listen if you can't get to the video version of this. Of course, I have a Discord. Just search Will at Heroic Studios. Come join us, exchange memes, talk politics, video games, whatever you guys are into. We're all having a great time over there. So much fun. And of course, follow me on Twitter, Will at Heroic Studios. I am right there. You can't miss me. The guy, I think I'm wearing the same shirt in my profile picture with the hat. Maybe holding a Red Ranger helmet. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not really sure. But let's get to the festivities of last night's debate. Now, I don't know what it is about Kamala Harris, but she creeps me out. Whenever she looks at me through a medium, like a TV or something, whenever she's looking at me, my skin crawls. I don't know if anyone else feels that just unease whenever she looks at you. And it's weird because she's looking at you through a screen and it just feels as though stop looking at me. You're making me super uncomfortable. Kamala Harris is not well liked. She's fake. She's an opportunist. She takes what she wants and she blatantly lies 24/7. And Mike Pence caught her on so many lies last night on last night's debate. And you can know when she's lying is when she starts cackling and smiling and shaking her head.
School.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Like she knows she's just been pushed into the hole. She just dug herself. And it's incredible how I don't know if she wholeheartedly believes what she's saying or if she just thinks that we're stupid to where we won't come back and say, nah, that's not true. This is actually what happened. Again, it was evident last night and Mike Pence nipped it in the bud. The first topic of the night was, of course, the coronavirus, COVID-19. What are the plans for the Biden-Harris administration? She really didn't answer the question. I couldn't even tell you what her answer was. She went into how the virus was Trump's fault and how 210,000 people died because of Trump, not mention of China and how they were responsible for the virus. But it's cool. It's whatever. In fact, she said that the world sees Xi Jinping better than Donald Trump, leader of the Chinese Communist Party. Take a look.
Leaders of all of our formerly allied countries have now decided that they hold in greater esteem and respect Xi Jinping, the head of the Chinese Communist Party, than they do Donald Trump, the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States.
Yeah, she said that. Incredible. Holy crap. The man who was responsible for the virus, who was responsible right now for throwing a ton of Muslims into concentration camps right now, who have welded people into their homes in Wuhan to stop the spread of the coronavirus, which was originated in China. We're never going to forget that it originated in China. So please stop trying to make us forget that it originated in China, please, because we all know that it originated in China. Where did it come from? China. We're not going to forget where it came from, lady. So stop trying to pin this on Trump. Oh, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's virus. So I think it's Susan Page. Susan Page addressed the question of coronavirus. What's your plans for coronavirus? And literally what she said was a regurgitation of what Mike Pence and Donald Trump are doing right now, creating a vaccine. I mean, even Mike Pence called her out. Here, take a look.
Saving lives all along the way. And under President Trump's leadership, Operation Warp Speed, we believe, will have literally tens of millions of doses of a vaccine before the end of this year. The reality is, when you look at the Biden plan, it reads an awful lot like what President Trump and I and our task force have been doing every step of the way. I mean, quite frankly, when I look at their plan that talks about advancing testing, creating new PPE, developing a vaccine, it looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little bit about.
It's insane. That is exactly what Mike Pence said, and he called her out, saying that Joe Biden is actually being accused of plagiarism. Oh, wow. Man, the whole thing, let's just be honest really quick for just 1 second, okay? The entire world did not know how to respond to coronavirus, period. Like what Mike Pence says last night on the debate, he was advised that they should probably stop travel from China. And when Trump did that, he was called xenophobic for it. But even Fauci came out and said, look, Trump, if you go ahead and stop travel to China, you'll save over 2 million lives. I mean, yeah, 210,000 people have died from the coronavirus. It's sad. It's horrible. But I think 210,000 lives is better than 2 million lives. That's just speaking from logic here. Like, no one in the world has a low death rate of coronavirus, except Sweden. And you know what Sweden did? They protected their vulnerable and old people. Anybody who was sick, had a life-threatening illness, or who was old, who were more susceptible to the disease, they protected those people and told all the young people, yeah, go out, do what you want. Go ahead and do what you want. And I think that was what Trump was trying to promote in the beginning. I'm not really sure, but Sweden is doing actually really well. I think they have the least amount of deaths in the entire world. They're leading us. They're leading everybody, actually. So I don't know. Maybe we should take a page out of Sweden's book and kind of go from there. But that was the question. She never answered the question. So we kind of moved on from COVID-19 and went into the economy and jobs. And of course, Mike Pence brought up the fact that Joe Biden said on numerous occasions that he was going to repeal Trump's tax cuts. If I remember correctly, I believe that 82% of Americans benefited from that tax cut, meaning that a family of four had a $4,000 savings of tax dollars since Trump implemented that tax. So Kamala Harris said that, oh, we're not going to raise taxes, but then kind of goes back and says we're going to pull Trump's tax cut, which would raise taxes. I don't think she's following here. That's exactly what that would do. Families who benefited from the tax cut will now have to pay more in taxes. So she's saying that Joe Biden isn't going to raise taxes, but he is going to, in fact, remove the Trump tax cut, which would raise taxes. Here, check this out. Insane.
Between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden believes you measure the health and the strength of America's economy based on the health and the strength of the American worker and the American family. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump, who measures the strength of the economy based on how rich people are doing, which is why he passed a tax bill benefiting the top 1% and the biggest corporations of America, leading to a $2 trillion deficit that the American people are going to have to pay for. On day one, Joe Biden will repeal that tax bill.
And Mike Pence caught her on that, caught her out on dozens of times. And of course, she's just a little.
President Trump and I took office. America had gone through the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression. Because when Joe Biden was vice president, they tried to tax and spend and regulate and bail our way back to a growing economy. President Trump cut taxes across the board. Despite what Senator Harris says, the average American family of four had $2,000 in savings in taxes. And with the rise in wages that occurred, most predominantly for blue-collar, hardworking Americans, the average household income for a family of four increased by $4,000 following President Trump's tax cuts.
Senator Harris?
Well, I mean, I thought we saw enough of it in last week's debate, but I think this is supposed to be a debate based on fact and truth. And the truth and the fact is Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000 a year.
He said he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well, wait.
I'm speaking.
It'd be important if you said the truth. Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. That was tax cuts that gave the average working family $2,000 in a tax break every single year.
Senator, that is absolutely not true.
Is he only going to repeal part of the Trump tax cuts?
If you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation, okay?
Please.
Okay.
The little evil, wicked witch of the West cackling because Mike Pence took the fucking hammer, saw the nail on her head, and went like, bam! Like, it's insane how much this woman just blatantly lies. The economy, the way that Trump did those tax cuts. And she, of course, she brought up the idea that, or the fact that, you know, corporations got a tax cut. Okay, so let me explain how this works. Please, it is very simple. If corporations, large corporation that employs tens of thousands of people in America gets a tax cut, that corporation can go ahead and not only keep their employees, but maybe create more jobs for the company. You know what create more jobs does? It actually helps Americans get jobs. So in raising taxes on corporations, saying corporations have to pay this amount of taxes, which are sometimes astronomical, those jobs that would normally be here stateside now go to other countries like Mexico, China, third world countries, where they can help produce at a much cheaper rate to make up for that tax cut that are now inflicting the corporations. So yeah, Trump gave the corporations a tax cut, but the long run of that plan was jobs stay here, stateside. So I would rather have a corporation get tax cuts and use the money that they saved in paying taxes to create new jobs to give to Americans, so those people who are coming out of school can get a job. And Kamala Harris brought that up. 20-year-olds are coming out of high school and college and can't find a job. Take a look.
You know, I think about 20-year-olds. You know, we have a 20-year-old, a 20-something-year-old who are coming out of high school and college right now, and you're wondering, is there going to be a job there for me?
But what she really means is this.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
Yeah, you see how fake she is? She's extremely fake. Super fake. I can't even begin to tell you how fake this woman is. Holy crap. So the debate kind of moved on from that, and Mike Pence is just like hitting every single ball she's trying to throw at him. She brings up the whole Russiagate thing, that Donald Trump colluded with Russia. Look, lady, how many times are we going to go through this? That has been debunked. In fact, yesterday before the debate, Trump declassified documents from the CIA director who had, I guess it was redacted or something like, named Hillary Clinton as the person who was responsible for spreading the rumor and getting the people riled up that Trump was colluding with Russia, when in fact it was her and Barack Obama who was using Russia to spy on the Trump campaign. So now that's been declassified. I don't know if it's been unredacted, but it has been declassified. People can go online and read that entire transcript between Hillary Clinton and the former CIA director. So, of course, she brings up Donald Trump colluded with Russia in 2016. Listen, we spent 2 years and over $4 billion taxpayer dollars investigating this whole Russiagate thing, and nothing came up. Nothing came up. Why are we still on this talking point? Why are we still here? It's about as annoying as saying that Trump has never denounced white supremacy. He's done so dozens of times. I even made a video about it. Go watch my video on the Proud Boys. He has stated on more than at least 5 occasions that he denounces white supremacy, KKK, any acts of violence, and racism. Why do we keep on going back to the talking point? Why? Because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, that's all they can talk about. Notice how Kamala Harris didn't even answer a single question on policy. She's talking about, oh, well, our Green New Deal is going to create jobs, even though it's only a $2 trillion version of the $98 trillion version of AOC that she proposed. But, Kamala Harris was the first person in the Senate to sponsor AOC's Green New Deal, which would have cost Americans $98 trillion over the next 10 years. I got to ask, I am super curious, what comes after a trillion? Is it a cajillion? A kabillion? What comes after a trillion? We've almost gotten closer to that number with AOC's New Deal. Joe Biden said last week in his debate that he does not support the Green New Deal. But Susan Page pointed out that on the website, the Green New Deal is right there. So which is it? Do you support the Green New Deal? Do you not support the Green New Deal? Biden's Green New Deal sounds awfully like the same one that AOC proposed. We don't even know what these policies are. We don't even know. Anybody watching this who's not voting for Trump and is voting for Biden, my question to you is, why are you voting for Joe Biden? And can you give me a legit reason without mentioning Donald Trump or Mike Pence? No one's ever been able to answer that question for me. Not a soul. It's because Orange Man bad, which if that's the reason, thank you for being honest. It's not a very good reason, but it is what it is. And so Mike Pence did the unspeakable. He did ask the forbidden question that Joe Biden never seemed to have been able to answer, or Kamala Harris. And that question was, are you going to pack the court? I don't know. It seems like a very simple question to me. I mean, we're going to pack the court or no. In fact, Kamala Harris decides to give us a history lesson on what Abe Lincoln did and came out with an answer that it is the people's choice to decide whether or not to pack the courts. That wasn't the question. The question was, if Amy Coney Barrett gets elected, are you going to retaliate by packing the court? Because you've already stated that if he elects Amy Coney Barrett, they're going to try and impeach him again. And Nancy Pelosi kind of, for the first time in ever, decided no, probably not a good idea because we looked stupid last time. Kamala Harris dodged that question. I don't think that Kamala Harris answered one question last night. Somehow it turned into how Donald Trump is a mean old orange man because he's mean and orange and a man. That was pretty much every single one of her answers. Just a lot of debunked talking points going back and forth from the last 4 years. There's a lot of lying, a lot of, oh, you're going to ban fracking. Oh, no, we're not going to ban fracking. But Joe Biden said in the debate that they're going to ban fracking.
But look, Senator Harris, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. You yourself said on multiple occasions when you were running for president that you would ban fracking. Joe Biden looked at a supporter in the eye and pointed and said, I guarantee that we will abolish fossil fuels. They have a $2 trillion version of the Green New Deal, Susan, that your newspaper, USA Today, said really wasn't that very different from the original Green New Deal. More taxes, more regulation, banning fracking, abolishing fossil fuel, crushing American energy, and economic surrender to China is a prescription for economic decline. President Trump and I will keep America growing. The V-shaped recovery that's underway right now will continue with 4 more years of President Donald Trump.
Thank you very, very much, Vice President.
So which is it? You guys are backtracking a lot on your policies right now. You need to get it straight because we're less than a month away from the election, and I honestly don't know where you guys stand on anything. All I know is that if Joe Biden gets elected, you're going to be the president, and we can't have that because you are by far the most radical person I have ever met before, and I completely loathe you. I'm not going to say the word hate because that's a strong word in today's day and era. I dislike you. I really dislike you, and I dislike you for the fact because you're so fake, Miss Harris, Senator, whatever you want me to call you.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I'm speaking now. It's incredible because I know, like, in the back of your head, you don't really believe half the shit that you're saying, but you're such an opportunist that you will say anything to get the ears of the American people perked up. And that is completely and utterly dishonest. I don't see why you do that. I mean, if you were Tulsi Gabbard, I think Tulsi Gabbard would have been a probably better running mate than you are. Because remember when Tulsi Gabbard did this?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response?
Because I'm not going to forget. I'm never going to forget that. And I hope the American people never forget that either. And I hope last night Mike Pence showed the American people just how fake and just how dishonest you are. And in 28 days, the American people are going to vote, and they're going to vote red. They're going to vote for Trump because they see right through the facade, Miss Harris, Joe Biden, the Harris Biden. We all know what it is, okay? We know what it is. You're not going to be vice president. And I'm saying that now. And if you do become vice president, well, I'm not going to be rioting in the streets, but I'm just going to point out that the American people probably aren't going to stand for it. So you're never going to be vice president, let alone president. So, all right, folks, that's my 2 cents. If you have not watched the debate, go check it out. I see it everywhere on YouTube. It's an hour and a half. Probably one of the best debates I've ever watched before. Watch it until the end because I think Susan Page asked a question from a little girl, and Mike Pence gave the most phenomenal answer on uniting the country. And it was great. It's exactly what America needs to hear right now, that we need to talk. We all need to talk. We need to sit down. We need to discuss this in a civil manner. Let's stop the name calling of racists. You're a bigot, you're a misogynist, you're whatever, white supremacist. Let's stop that because it's not getting us anywhere. We need to sit down and we need to talk about some of the issues that are tearing our country apart. And Mike Pence reiterated that very, very kindly. It was so good that I don't even remember what Kamala Harris said because I don't care. I really don't care what she has to say. So guys, go vote. Go vote in person November 6th. Get your asses out of your house. Put on a mask. Go stand in line at your local voting ballot booth, wherever, school, library, church, wherever your voting is being set up. Go vote. I don't care who you're voting for. It doesn't really bother me. I know who I'm voting for. Trump 2020. But just make sure you guys get out there and vote because this whole ballot harvesting, people getting caught, lost ballots in the mail, forgery ballots, dead people fucking voting. My cat just voted somehow. Get out there and vote. Let's show these people that we're not afraid of some stupid virus when it comes to our country. I am Will at Heroic Studios, and I am the Red Conservative. I will see you guys next time on another episode of Culture Shock. Enjoy yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.